Now, yesterday we spoke about presentation design and we touched a lot of topics around how we can push the boundaries of PowerPoint, how we can enjoy presentations with other tools like Canva. We talked about how designers are doing things in Adobe and how we can see the behind the scenes of that. We talked about tackling templates, which was a very interesting topic, obviously, for you. Then we talked about accessibility, and then we went through data visualization. So having that in mind, this is this is the base of an effective presentation, but we don't have to miss this one very important element, which is the delivery. So today is going to be all about this. And I have with me Peter Hopwood, who is, I would say, the person who you will see emceeing now more virtually events from all over the world. Like, to me, he's the go person if you want a really, really good MC. He had a master class, not yesterday, but the day before. So there was a very diverse group who was super engaged by him. And I'm super excited that actually his session is going to be the first one for today. So hello, Peter. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. You're joining us from Croatia, so it's not too far from Sofia.
That's right. That's right. Today's a sunny day here on the coast. I imagine, well, from what I understand, it's pretty good over there as well, huh?
It's pretty good over here, but we have some rain today, which we'll see might be a good thing for a virtual conference, as we were joking before that. Yeah. Okay. So Peter is actually going to cover a very important topic today because he will talk of mindfulness. Like, he's going to tell you more about his talk, and I don't want to repeat myself because you have it already in the agenda, but how to be mindful in order to do and deliver a great talk. So Peter, now the stage is yours. I just want to remind our audience that the chat and Q&A sections are open, so make sure that you put your questions in the Q&A section so that we can follow them on. Peter is going to be asking you some questions as well. So we will be looking at the chat and Q&A, so please make it a little bit easier for us and put your questions in the Q&A section. Peter, the stage is now yours. We have already some people joining us from Vienna, Sofia, Ireland, the Netherlands. Let's see some more. Let's give them a few seconds. Where are you guys joining us? London, Key West, Florida, Sofia, Skopje. Oh wow, a lot of input is coming. Berlin, Barcelona, Bulgaria, Serbia, Austria, the Czech Republic, Switzerland, Bucharest, Romania,
Poland. Keep them coming.
Poland, we have the Netherlands, Plovdiv, Bulgaria, Warsaw, Vienna, Prague. Wow, it's quite a diverse audience.
Yeah, we've got another 35 minutes of this, so just keep on telling us where you're from, and we'll get through this 35 minutes together like this.
Let's see. Wow, people are joining from San Francisco, Greece. Yes, yes, no. People are like, no, we want to hear your voice.
Right, I'm sure. Well, okay, right. I'm going to stop there and we'll just carry on now using my voice. But isn't that an intriguing, I find it quite an intriguing concept of just using cards, because it's almost like we're kind of more intrigued and curious as to what's happening next. They're simple cards, simple messages, not even on their own, not really that intriguing at all. However, put together in this kind of sliding concept, instead of a slide deck, instead of a PowerPoint slide, let's say, it's quite intriguing. And in fact, there's a TED talk, a TEDx talk, nothing to do with this, in fact, but a TEDx talk called "The Power of Storytelling" by a woman called Andrea Gibbs, TEDx Perth. Right? This is one of my favorite TEDx talks. She actually uses this concept of cards within her talk, within what she's sharing. It's really, really intriguing, and take a look at it. In fact, asking speakers, that could be it could be a good idea maybe next time to ask all speakers, because there's a lot of coaches, a lot of presenters, lots of experts in this field, to ask them what their favorite TEDx talk is. You put them all together, and then it's quite intriguing to know, all the speakers here, what their favorite TEDx talk is. That's mine. And although the speakers, they can't say it's their TEDx talk cannot be the one that's their favorite. Okay. So somebody else has done their own. Anyway, mindfulness. So the mindful behaviors of an exceptional speaker. So listen, yesterday, today, we've already heard lots of great ideas, great concepts, advice, ideas on presenting, how to present, storytelling, lots of kind of hands-on things we can do and we can feel and we can think about that will help us hopefully on this process, on this journey of becoming stronger communicators. But the thing is that, before we do any of this, before we do any of the practical tasks we need to do, or we have to do, or when we're putting things together, what happens up here, you'll agree, as you'll know, what happens up here, mastering the mind, mastering how you're feeling up here, will really shape everything that you share, shaping how you say your words, shaping your words as well, how you move, how you feel, your intention. All these things happen starting up here. And so yesterday, the day before yesterday, masterclass, lots of ideas, lots of hands-on tips, but within that, I like to sprinkle these kind of notions, these notions of what to think about to get into the right frame of mind, just to help you move forward as a speaker, as a presenter, coaching clients worldwide. This is what I like to do, and I'm going to share with you right now over the next 35 minutes or so a kind of handful of notions. Remember, they're notions. They're not necessarily practical things you should do. They're things that I like to share within the training that I share, and I'm sure they'll give you some food for thought. At least you don't have to agree with them, you don't have to do them, you don't have to think about them. But if you do, hopefully I think it will take you a little bit closer to the outcome you want of becoming a more stronger, perhaps confident, and more impactful presenter. So the first idea is this. So embracing the unpredictable. So think back, let's say to last year, February, March last year, when this crazy change in our lives, in my life, in your life, pretty much everybody affected around the world with the pandemic and everything that came with that. So for me, I noticed there were, and for many people as well, I noticed there was a kind of scale of the way people were reacting, a scale of the way we were all kind of dealing with this craziness, dealing with this uncertainty. So there were kind of group of people that were, okay, this is not good. We are in lockdown. A lot of our freedom's taken away. We're uncertain about what's going to happen next week, next month, 6 months' time. So many questions with so little answers, right? And so for a lot of people, the level of anxiety was quite high. For some people, very high. And we've all met people. We've all spoken to people. We might have been one of those people ourselves, where we really find it difficult to deal with that uncertainty. Whereas on the other side of the scale, and I'm sure you've met people as well that during this time kind of said to themselves, "Hey, this is what's happened. I'm not in control of this. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's going to happen. Just like you, maybe it's going to affect my work. It's going to affect my relationships. It's going to affect many different things. My financial situation. It's going to have a hard hit on that. But I'm kind of like content that I'm okay. Things are going to happen. I'm not sure what's going to happen next week, 2 weeks, next month, 6 months in the future, but I'm okay. I'm kind of accepting that I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm kind of embracing that, and I'm going to make sure I'm all right. Now, this idea, this notion, I think is really like relevant for us as presenters, for us as speakers, when we have to share something for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. We don't know exactly whether it's going to go exactly to plan. We don't know how our audience exactly how they're going to receive us, how they're going to absorb our messages, our content, right? Things could go wrong, especially on stages in the real world. Naturally, again, as a host, I'm the last part of that puzzle. There are many different parts of that puzzle for a conference, an event, a live event to take place and to take place well. And I don't know if everything's going to go well, but having this kind of idea, this idea of, you know, not trying to control the environment around me, but more so controlling myself in the environment I'm in. Yeah, just having that idea of saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to embrace this unpredictable time. I'm going to embrace the unknown. Naturally, if the more preparation you do and the more familiar you are with what you're doing, the content, if you've done it many times before, if you're confident because of the experiences you've had before, all this plays a part in all of this. However, again, things that are unpredictable, things that we don't have much control over, saying to ourselves, okay, it's okay. I'm gonna be all right with this. And if something does go wrong, I'm gonna be fine in how I'm gonna deal with that. Okay. So I think that's not just in public speaking, but in many parts of our lives as well. But if we focus and just keep it into this context, I think this is something that is a good trait. It's something that we can learn from, and something that I certainly would say would benefit us, certainly as we grow as a speaker, and certainly when things start to get hairy in terms of the stakes, in terms of the pressure, in terms of when things get the pressure's on. Okay, so embracing that unpredictability. By the way, what I'll do, I'll go through all of the handful of notions. At the end, I'll leave about 10, 11, 12 minutes. Me and Eva will take these questions, and it'll be a chance for you to share what you think, whether you agree with me, whether you don't agree with me, whether you want to challenge me on something, or maybe from your experience, it's something that's close to something in what you're doing as a presenter as well. Okay, that's the first one. Next. Getting really comfortable with judgment. Easier said than done, right? So letting people judge us, a difficult one. Again, not just relevant for this context, public speaking context, presenting context, in life, many different areas. As we grow older, as we go through life, different experiences, we're constantly faced with judgment. But I think the first thing to think about is, okay, judgment. When I say judgment, maybe automatically we kind of think of negative, that kind of, we think of negative judgment. But in fact, judgment is literally an opinion, isn't it? It's an opinion from somebody about you, about something, about context or content, whatever it is, but it's actually just an opinion. And so that could be something good. You have a whole scale of negative judgment and a kind of positive judgment. And the thing is, we can't control the judgment. Right now, I can't control how you see me and your perception of me. In your brains right now, I don't know. I can do many small things to try to get closer to the outcome that I want. I can do those, and I'm trying to do those right now. I've been doing those since the beginning with my voice and my body movement and my eye contact and all these things that we've learned about yesterday, and we'll learn more about today as well. But the thing is, judgment, we can't control that. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen. So we might as well say, listen, go ahead and judge me. Please go ahead and judge me. You have the right to judge me. Thinking along those lines, your audiences, every single audience, every time you put yourself out there, every time you do a webinar, every time you're on a call, a virtual call, every time you're on a stage, whatever it is, a podcast, you're saying, saying to yourself, go ahead and judge me. It's okay. You have the right to do that. You have the right to judge me. And remember this, you have the right not to like me. You have the right not to appreciate my content. You have the right not to come on board with me. Right now, you might be just sticking around because you've got nothing else to do wherever you are. In all those places around the world, you could be, there's nothing else on, nothing on Netflix, so I might as well watch Peter. But here's the thing, if I get comfortable with that, I get comfortable with the fact that not everybody will appreciate me and not everybody will absorb my ideas or concepts or start to trust me or start to like me, then that's okay. Naturally, I'm trying to do that as much as I can. I'm trying to get closer to that outcome. Try to think of it as instead of we're presenting as presenters, think of yourself as more of a connector, connecting. Yeah. So let's say so when you present something, you're sharing out information, you're sharing out data, ideas, and you're letting your audience then really judge you because you're presenting something and they're giving their opinion on it. But if you switch it and think about yourself as a connector, you're trying to connect. So just that notion of the idea of trying to connect with someone, although they're still judging you, we all still have our snap judgments about people, and that happens all the time. Just changing it to a connection it kind of dilutes the whole idea of being judged. Yeah. Think of it in another context. Think of this like, I don't know, you're going on a date. All right, you're going on a date. It's a hot date, and well, you think it's a hot date. Maybe, hopefully, the other person thinks the same as well. But you're going on a date, and you are presenting yourself. You're presenting how you look. You're presenting yourself. You're presenting yourself in the best way possible for the other person to judge you in a positive way. But if again you change that to, I want to connect with this person. I want to connect. I want to connect with this person so that they can feel my ideas, they can get to know me better, and they can understand me. Naturally, all the other things come in as well. Listen, I'm not a dating guru here, all right? So this isn't my, you should be on the dating to succeed conference, not this one. But in terms of the notion of connection and presenting, try to look at it more as a connection. Okay, letting people judge you, go ahead and judge me. It's okay. People have the right to judge us. And then it just gives you this idea that you have to focus more on connecting, more on the value of sharing, bringing down that anxiety, and hopefully things will start to go your way slightly, or get towards, as I say, get towards that outcome you're looking for. Okay, so that's that with the judgment, and I think it is something very important because it affects us all in every single context, most of our lives at some stage. we're trying to deal with this. As we get older, a lot of us seem to deal with that a lot better through the experiences that we have. But definitely to think about that. And also, just one thing I'm going to throw in there as well. The more so, I used to, and I still do, make snap judgments about people, snap judgments about who they are, creating that story in my head about people. But here's the thing: I think often the way or how we see other people and how we judge other people, especially those snap judgments, these are really connected to really how we kind of see ourselves in a way, how we perceive ourselves. All right. So certainly in my journey, as a coach, as a speaker, presenter, MC, all these things, I'm learning more how to suspend my judgment and not go straight in, bang, and kind of, in my mind, confirm what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. Okay? Keep that in mind. Let's move on. Now, this one here. Listening. So I must say, I'm fascinated with sound. Strange thing to say, isn't it? Most people are fascinated with other things, but I really, in the work I do and how I try to help people, focusing on sound and really helping people to understand that listening for the sounds that we hear, all those sounds we hear equal some kind of emotion, right? So how do we, when we listen to someone speak on a stage, many different things that are influencing us, how those ideas are coming through our brain and how we're making that judgment and those decisions we're making, and the sense of emotion. All right. So often through stories, and you've heard already yesterday, you'll hear more about it today, how stories are really good at really capturing that emotion, capturing how people feel, how things relate to them. But also sound, just sound on its own, sound that is all about signals and all about feelings. So think about it, any sound, think about Netflix. Okay, you sign into Netflix and you hear that boom sound, right? That boom sound. That's a sound. It's a universal sound we've come to understand and come to appreciate. I guess appreciate as well. But that sound, what does it signal? It signals you're in. You're in. We're in. Time for Netflix. Without that sound, it's kind of like a signal that, okay, well, I'm not there yet. So sounds are always playing a part in how we're feeling and how we're making our decisions. A movie, every single movie producer on his list of he's got his budget in front of him, and he's looking, or she's looking at where that budget is going to go. Most of it, I'm sure, probably a large chunk will go towards the Hollywood stars, the sets, the location, all these things. Not much will probably go to the score, to the musical score, to the music, to the sounds, to the theme tune, to all those sounds within the movie. But he or she will know that the most effective part of the whole movie is the sound. That's the thing that makes us feel something. All right. So it's the same thing when we're presenting. Our voice is that sound, that our voice plays a part in how people feel. So again, not just what you're saying, the paralinguistic side of things in terms of how we say things, the sounds that we make when we're saying words, even the sounds we make when we're not saying words, all play a part in how we get our messages across and how people feel about us and our content. Okay. Different, again, looking at, so I'm constantly listening to voices in my head. No, although they are there sometimes. I'm constantly listening to voices ways of presenting. So watching TV, watching Netflix, a sports presenter. Now his voice will often, or her voice will often be a little bit more energetic. Okay, next time you listen to a sports presenter, it will have a little bit more energy in it, and it will often have more opinion in that voice, because they can give that opinion. Newsreaders often have to stay neutral, although it's changing now. There's more engagement in their voices and how they're moving. Often you see them standing in front of a video wall and using their hands a lot more. But yeah, going back to a sports presenter, it's quite a lot more energetic. If you think of a radio presenter in the morning, it's all about feeling good, making people feel good through the voice. You can hear the smile, you can hear the kind of optimism, even when it's a rainy day, maybe like a rainy day today in Sofia. Is it raining in Sofia? I think so. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So you can feel that sunshine in the voice, although there's no sunshine. Again, switch it towards the end of the day, in the evening, an evening late night presenter on the radio. It will be a lot softer and a lot more maybe engaging and more mellow, because people have had a long day perhaps, and they just want to relax and take in those messages. So the voice, how we sound, is really important, and just having that notion in your mind about, okay, sound equals signals, which equal emotion, and those emotions help us with our judgment and our decisions. All right, so the thing is, just think about that, keep that in your mind, keep that kind of fresh, because it could be, and for me, I really do think in terms of the way our tools for influencing, even above how we look, how we move, even sometimes what we say, our voice plays such a strong role in the way we're influencing the people that are listening to us. Okay. Right, there's that one. Moving on. How are we doing with time? How are we doing with time? How much we got? Okay, let's move on. Next.
10 minutes more, so.
10.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
go
I'll do
with
this.
10 minutes. So because we already have some questions, so
Fantastic.
yeah.
I'll do this one right now. I'll do this one right now, and then we'll go straight onto the questions. How's that sound?
Sure,
Good.
absolutely.
Okay. Be bold. Be bold. Right. Okay. So when we listen to leaders, or we listen to people that are sharing messages that are trying to influence us or trying to convince us of something, often a leader will have a type of voice or a type of presence that helps us to get closer to his messages, right? Now, part of that is, and I always say this, is making choices, making distinct choices, being bold. When I say being bold, that doesn't mean I don't mean being like sturdy and strong. It's just being bold in what you say, being bold in your body movements, okay, and being bold in your confidence. Think about this. Okay, so lockdown. Okay, lockdown in the UK. I'm not sure. It's not lockdown in Bulgaria, no? Probably not. Oh, it is. Is that a yes? Okay. It's not. Okay.
So no, currently not a lockdown. Exactly.
Okay, think of when it was lockdown, and then you came out of lockdown. What did most of us do? Went to the hairdressers, right? Because our hair, with wonderful different styles of hairstyle. Some of us very long. Some of us needed a haircut straight away. Some of us felt, well, hey, I quite like this long hair. Anyway, going to the hairdresser, you sit down and you ask the hairdresser, okay, or the hairdresser says to you, what would you like today? What are we going for today? And you say, well, I'm not quite sure. What do you think? The hairdresser says to you, I don't know, maybe, perhaps this might look good. I'm not sure. I mean, we could try something new today. Maybe stick with what we had last time. He could say that, or he could actually say, or she could say, I think you should try this. I think, you know what? I think this will look really good on you. I think, this over like that, or that quiff, or this wig or whatever it is will look great on you. And automatically we feel more confident because of the confidence that a hairdresser said. He or she might be completely wrong or just making it up. However, at that moment, we feel confident about the messages that are coming through because they're bold. Same thing. You're going to a shop. You're going to Zara or I don't know H&M or whatever it is. Any shop, shopping mall. You're going to a shop. You try on something. The shop assistant says, maybe more so with female, I don't know, maybe men as well, but often a female assistant could say to give some assistance, you look great on that, or I've got something that will look great on you, or you say, what do you think? Perfect, great. I love the way that shapes around your body or whatever it is. Yeah, again, oozing that confidence. And we've got to kind of do the same thing. We don't, not in our presentations telling people how their hair should be or whether jeans look good on them or not, but it's more about the boldness and making choices. So making choices, as you can see, as I'm speaking to you right now, the way I'm moving my hands here, they are bold choices. A lot of the time I'm kind of doing it instinctively, but still they are choices. They're not. It's not like kind of like anything. Sort of. I'm just sort of leaving my hands to do as they wish. They are, and usually, often they're symmetrical. Not all the time, but often they're symmetrical again, which is a good thing. Keeping everything symmetrical, and it helps our viewer and our listener and viewer just to feel more calmer and feel like everything is in the right place and more structured. All right. So again, think about this. The first debate with Trump and Biden, remember? The catastrophe. It was a train wreck, awful. If you think about the moderator, if you remember the moderator sitting down, if you have a look back, his movements were very, they were not strong. They were not sharing signals of, listen, I'm in charge. I'm structuring this. I'm the kind of leader of this exchange, this kind of triangle exchange that we have here in front of the world. So he was giving signals of they weren't bold signals. They weren't clear, bold signals, which in fact helped both candidates, both of them, Biden and Trump, to sort of take advantage of that because they were sharing more bolder choices or bolder body gestures, which gave the impression, or they tried to give the impression they were in charge, when in fact the moderator should have been in charge. So just think about what you're saying. Think more about how you're coming across, how your movement is. And so making choices, being bold, will help you. If you want people to listen to you and to raise that credibility and to remember you, being bold is good. Now, even if, think about perhaps people you don't agree with, politicians you don't agree with, or celebrities, or anybody that's shared interviews on TV or YouTube, and you haven't agreed with them, still often they will still be bold because it gets people to remember what they're saying and to feel like they believe what they're saying as well. Okay, listen, I've kind of jumped into a kind of handful of ideas. I'd love to hear from Eva now. What we've got, what people are saying, what's the score?
So we actually have a lot of questions. I wrote down a few things from what you said, and one of them covers with the most popular question that we have in our Q&A section. So you you talked about how our voice plays a part of how people feel. And in your case here, when you're talking to me, I get this very calm feeling that makes me want to listen to you. So the question that is kind of the most popular here in the Q&A section is, have you always been this zen about going on stage? What was a turning point for you?
Good question.
I agree.
No, just over time, I've realized that I have to believe in what I'm saying. I have to feel through my voice, there's so much you can achieve through the voice that you're sharing, and trying to get that slightly lower. Perhaps you can hear the pace is quite smooth. Sometimes it goes a little bit goes faster, but that's deliberate, sort of mixing everything up. So that's really just taking all those elements that we're learning from the coaches that we're working with, or the information that we're getting through this conference over the last couple of days as well, and knowing that your voice plays this massive part in how people perceive you, and you can get as close as you can. Try to get closer and closer to this outcome. So when I'm speaking, when I'm presenting, I'm trying to get you to listen to me, regardless of what I'm saying. I could be sharing a load of rubbish, but the way, the kind of paralinguistic side, as I say, how you say things, using your voice or shaping your voice in a slightly different way, that gets people to stick with you, hopefully, together with all those other elements you can see with my hands, my eye contact. I tell you what as well, having a microphone that you're confident with actually makes you feel more confident about your voice as well. So I think, a mixture of all those things, but there wasn't one turning point. But I realized early on that your voice can play such a large role. Radio presenters, we don't see who they are most of the time, but we hear them. Or now podcasters, we can hear them. And if that voice we like that voice, we trust that voice, we get closer to that voice, even before we've actually seen someone in the flesh, face to face, we can create that trust, and we can create that engagement as well. So yeah, for me, it wasn't over just one particular time. It was over time.
And speaking again about voice, what are your best voice techniques? So how can people gain this confidence that you talk about? Because to be honest,
So asking me that right
I
now and
think,
giving you an answer right now is really
yeah.
difficult. But sorry, carry on.
I was saying that at least what happens to me very often is that people are like, okay, how can I develop my voice so that
Yeah.
I bring this confidence when I'm talking to people, whether online
Yeah.
or when in
Sure.
person?
Sure. I think it goes back to the old the idea of the quality of your voice. Fundamentally, number one, is determined by the quality of the air inside of you and how that comes out. So your calmness, the air inside you when you breathe, that whole process will determine how you sound, and determine how you feel about yourself at the time and your state of mind. So just having that breath, having good breathing technique, or just simply being really calm, getting yourself into a calm state. I get myself into a calm state, and I do that many ways. There are many ways to do that. For me, if you actually listen, if you listen back to this,
Mm-hmm.
you'll hear that my phrases are kind of like, I've got a phrase and then I stop. And I'm kind of happy with the pause. I'm happy to stop. I'm happy to have that bit of silence. And then I go again, kind of phrase and then stop. But what happens when I stop is I breathe. You don't maybe see it or hear it, but I breathe. So I've got another kind of chunk of air ready for my next breath. So I could just keep going on like this all day. And so in the phrases that I'm sharing, I'm using the stomach muscles to project my voice in a slightly different way. So here we go. If you put your hands on the side of your hips, slightly higher where your stomach is, sort of the same level as your belly button. Okay. How'd you say belly button in
Yeah.
Bulgarian? Pupak. Is it
Yes.
pupak? Is it pupak? No.
I don't know.
Anyway, in
I've never
Croatian
heard
it's
that one.
pupak. Anyway, you learned so much today, huh? How to say belly
Yeah.
button in Croatian. But hey, put your hands there and just do this.
Okay.
If you do that, that pushing, you can hear the pushing either side,
Yeah.
right? That's the muscle that projects your voice. So my voice is not coming from here. If it was just to come from here, it would sound like this. But if I start to project my voice from here, it's coming from lower down, and I'm pushing there. Every time I say this phrase, I stop, I breathe, very quick breath, but it goes in and then comes out in a phrase. Stop, in, out as a phrase. And that's actually something that, you know, I work on with clients, you know, pretty much at the start when they're sharing their messages. Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's quite challenging also for people to stay calm. And at least what I tell them, you will tell me whether you do that too, but especially when they have a presentation, they're always like, okay, how can I stay calm during my presentation? My answer to that is always, well, rehearse. Because I think that when you are rehearsing and the more you are rehearsing, the easier it is for you to stay calm. What do you think about it?
Yeah, Eva, you've hit the nail on the head. The more something is familiar with us, the more we kind of get used to something. The more we do something, that equals confidence. So you hit a ball. If you kick a ball at a wall every day for an hour, every single day for a month or for 6 months, you will get really confident at kicking that ball at that wall. Are you doing it in the right way? Probably, because there's not much technique. But if we talk about public speaking, the more we do something, we get more confident at it. That doesn't necessarily mean we do it well, but we get more confident. So the more you do it, the more you're going to feel. You can grab back in your mind those experiences you've done before, and then that will automatically make you feel slightly calmer. The idea of, you know, how can you calm down those nerves and that anxiety before you go on stage? I would say that whole process has to start way before, right? So even when you're putting together your presentation, whatever you're putting together, when you know you have to present, and again, we heard it yesterday, presenters are continually presenting, they're continually practicing how they're presenting. So they're always ready for when that moment comes to share what they have to share, and keeping that anxiety down. Naturally, the more you present, the more you get confident at it, and the more you'll feel like you can handle things certainly when things get tough.
Absolutely, I definitely fully agree on that. And there was a very nice saying yesterday from Scott Carman during the storytelling track when he said that great presenters do not prepare just once; they are always preparing. It was not probably
Exactly.
the wording was not that exact wording, but it was in that sense. So if you want to be a good presenter, you cannot count on just sitting there for an hour and working on your presentation. You constantly have to do it.
Absolutely. So all these ideas, these mindful ideas, you know, just take them in, absorb them, think about them, just constantly be thinking about how it's going to run out. I often, for me, it's a visualization. I kind of got this play in my head about how things are going to unfold naturally if you've done it before, and also if you've seen yourself online, and it's been recorded, let's say, and you can see how you look, or as close as to getting into the brains or the behind the eyes of the people that were watching you from the audience. I tap into that. I tap into how people that play in my head, that kind of videotape, or not any videotapes anymore, but just that tape that of what I look like, and I remember that, and it kind of calms me down because I know I can do it.
Absolutely. Since we're almost out of time, just one more question. What are your
Sure.
best practices to connect with your audiences? Especially because you have a lot of experience with diverse audiences, given that you work with people from all across the world. So what is your best advice on connecting with diverse audiences?
Okay, I think just the idea of a diverse audience, we tend to think that there's a lot of differences, when in fact there are many things which are, you know, we all of us, wherever we're from, are kind of universal. Yeah. So the idea of the openness, the idea of intention. So when I go on stage or present, or the workshop, or whatever it is, I know what I'm there for and what I want to give the listeners. So whether that's a podcast interview, whether that's hosting a 2-day conference, whether that's a conference, a virtual conference just like this one, sharing a speech right now, I always show that intent at the beginning. So tell your audience what they're going to get. Tell your audience why they're there, the value they're going to get. I told you at the beginning, you know, over the next 35, 40 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you this, this, and this. And so people, again, people don't care. We heard yesterday as well, you know, it's so true. People don't care about you. They don't care about your title. They don't care that you are even a great keynote speaker. They don't care. That all they care about at the moment when you come on stage is what are they going to get from this? What's the value they're going to get from this? So always having that in mind. And even though maybe you have to work on the other elements of delivery, the other elements maybe of your voice, the other elements of movement, even other elements of your content. If you can show people that your intention is you want to give them value, people will always listen. People will always be engaged and want to listen to someone that has a good intention of giving. So
Yeah.
having that in your mind, that will certainly help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very nice thing. Very nice thing for an end, Peter. Thank you so much for this session. It was fantastic and lovely to have this also discussion with you at the end. So really, thank you for being part of it. For all of you who are seeing Peter maybe for the first time, go ahead and connect with him on LinkedIn. He's quite active there, so definitely urge you to do that. Peter Hopwood is on LinkedIn, and I think on other social media as well. Not sure about it. I see you mainly on LinkedIn, but guys, go ahead, do it. Connect with Peter because he's sharing a lot of interesting tips also on his page. So Peter, that would be from this session now. Unfortunately, we need to move on with the other one.
I know. Thank you. Listen, thanks so much. It's been great. And you know what? Even so, as a presenter, I'm so intrigued about this conference, and I'll be sticking around the whole day today, and I'm really looking forward to the other. We've got Mark later on, Chase as well. Really looking forward to what they're about to share as well.